Imagine stepping outside on a hot summer day with temperatures hitting 90 degrees or hotter. Now, imagine this happening for up to 80 days each summer. Sounds unbearable, right? But this is not just a hypothetical scenario. Studies predict that between 2036 and 2065, the United States will experience an increase in extremely hot days. Currently, extreme heat is a silent killer, accounting for less than 1% of cardiovascular-related deaths. However, with temperatures predicted to rise, this figure is set to change. As summer days soar to 90 degrees or hotter, the threat to our health is becoming more apparent. The impact is not just physical but also emotional and social. The consequences are far-reaching, affecting everyone from the young and healthy to the elderly and those with underlying health conditions. But as these hot summer days increase, so does the risk for cardiovascular deaths. As the mercury rises, so does the risk for certain groups of people. Our elders and Black adults are particularly vulnerable to the health effects of extreme heat. This vulnerability stems from a combination of underlying medical conditions and socioeconomic barriers that disproportionately affect these groups. Let's look at the numbers. Today, less than 1% of cardiovascular-related deaths are due to extreme heat. This may seem insignificant, but the picture becomes more worrying when we consider the future. It is predicted that the number of annual heat-related cardiovascular deaths will increase 2.6 times for the general population, jumping from 1,651 to 4,320. But for older adults and Black adults, the projections are even more alarming. The number of heat-related deaths is expected to almost triple. This stark increase in mortality underscores the severity of the situation. The heat isn't just an inconvenience. It's a serious health risk for these groups. Let's dive into the numbers that tell this chilling story. A study supported by the National Institutes of Health suggests that each summer, a staggering 71 to 80 days will scorch with temperatures of at least 90 degrees. That's like experiencing 2 to 3 months of extreme heat every year. And with this increase in temperature, heat-related cardiovascular deaths are expected to rise alarmingly. Today, extreme heat is responsible for less than 1% of cardiovascular-related deaths. Yet, if greenhouse gas emissions are kept to a minimum, we're still looking at a dramatic increase. The annual number of heat-related cardiovascular deaths could shoot up from 1,651 to a whopping 4,320. And here's a sobering fact. These projections are even more pronounced for older adults and Black adults, with deaths almost tripling. These numbers paint a stark picture of the potential future. So, what can be done to cool things down? Well, the researchers have suggested some potential solutions. Cities, for instance, could implement cooling approaches. How about planting more trees for shade, or using heat-reflective materials on buildings and roads? It sounds simple, but these strategies could make a tangible difference in urban heat levels. However, it's not all as straightforward as it seems. While these methods may help in reducing the heat and subsequently the risk of heat-related cardiovascular deaths, it's important to note that more research is needed. We need to understand the broader impact of these solutions on population health. For instance, how effective are these cooling methods exactly? And are there any potential downsides to consider? It's clear that we're in the early stages of understanding how to combat the health risks associated with extreme heat. As we move forward, more research, more innovation, and more action will be needed. While these solutions may help, there's much more we need to understand and do. As the heat continues to rise, so too does our need to act. The future is forecasted to bring more extremely hot days, and with them, an alarming increase in cardiovascular-related deaths. This isn't just a vague prediction, but a reality we need to prepare for. Our older adults and Black adults are at a higher risk, facing disproportionate effects due to underlying medical conditions and social economic barriers. The numbers are clear, and they're telling us we need to act. Each summer, we could expect around 71 to 80 days where the temperatures soar to 90 degrees or hotter. This could lead to a 2.6 times increase in heat-related cardiovascular deaths, assuming we keep greenhouse gas emissions to a minimum. But it's not all doom and gloom. We have solutions within our reach. Planting trees for shade, using heat-reflective materials. These are just a few examples of how we can fight the heat. However, we need more research to fully understand the impact of these measures on population health. The future may be hot, but with knowledge and action, we can work to protect the most vulnerable among us.